answering your questions about the Nintendo Switch 2. As you may have seen on Friday, I got to go hands-on with the Nintendo Switch 2, and I asked for your questions about Nintendo's upcoming console. First things first, an awful lot of you wanted me to put this thing in my mouth. Marky Nana asks, is the Switch 2 playing games with consistent frame rate, or is there still issues right out of the box? For example, in Pokemon. For the most part, what I saw was, yeah, it was all pretty consistent. Like, say, Zelda, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which are coming from the older generation, they ran beautifully. Of the new first-party Nintendo stuff, like Mario Kart World and DK Bonanza, I found that Mario Kart ran beautifully as well. At the other end, you do have games like Cyberpunk 2077. That was running pretty unevenly, I have to say. I do think Cyberpunk is a bit of a unique case there. Like, that is already a game that's famous for not running very well. I think it's going to differ game to game. It will just be a matter of keeping your ear to the ground. Ekimac asks, does it feel heavier or lighter than a regular Switch? Good question. It actually feels very similar in terms of weight. Like, it really didn't feel like it was any heavier than the Switch already is. Latch21 has a bunch of questions. How does the Pro controller feel? Buttons are like. It felt quite good. I don't know that it feels quite as luxe as something like the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, for instance, but it did feel like a bit of an upgrade on the existing Elite controller. Is the game chat just Nintendo believing their own hype, being 15 years late to the party? Look, I can see plenty of use cases, particularly for parents and things like that, where if they're monitoring what their kids are playing online and who they're playing with, I think it's a useful tool for that. But outside of that sort of particular use case, I just don't see many people getting around it, to be honest. Elrouse19 asks, does the screen really rival the OLED model? Yeah, it really does, which is a surprise considering this is not an OLED screen we're talking about. This is a really good looking screen. Nintendo has performed some witchcraft to get it to look this good. You could be forgiven for thinking it was an OLED. Puddleboy asks, my housemate reckons that the mouse Joy-Con functionality opens the door to port more PC games. Using the mouse control felt really good. It felt really good. It felt very similar to using a mouse on a PC. Overall, yeah, I can see it opening the door to PC shooters and things like that. Esoterically asks, performance of current not re-released Switch games on Switch 2, like load and upscaling, etc. Good question. So there weren't really any games from the Switch 1 that weren't specifically being re-released. The two Switch 1 era games that were on the show floor were The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, as well as Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and also Mario Party Jamboree. So difficult to say how original Switch games perform on the system. We were not able to go hands-on with any of that because they didn't have any at the show. Rat asks, what is the max players for Mario Kart World? Still 4-way split screen. So yeah, you're still going to get 4-player split screen if you're just playing on couch co-op. Online races, I believe, are still 8 to 12 players. The new Knockout Tours mode is a full 24-player. Tomlin AU asks, do I have to play the Switch 1 to understand the lore and story? Yes. Zachariah K asks, does it have a cup holder? No. Thanks very much for all of your questions. If you've got more, get in the comments, let me know, and I'll do another one of these videos.